Hey everybody, it's Miss Diaz, and I'm going to be leading college advisory today. Before we get started, I just wanted to say welcome back. I hope everyone had a really great break. Check out some of these amazing photos from the gate being installed and from LPS students around the Bay this past week. So today's college advisory is going to be a little bit different. We're going to be preparing for something really important called WASC. We've got 3 objectives. The first is to explain what WASC stands for and what they do. The second is to explain the concept of accreditation and why it's important. And last but not least, we're going to prepare for our WASC visit, which is happening next month. So first of all, what is WASC? The word WASC is an acronym, and it stands for Western Accreditation of Schools and Colleges. They're an organization that works with the California Department of Education, and they're responsible for helping schools review their plan for supporting students and for making sure that all students are successful and ready for college. Ultimately, they're the organization that is responsible for giving schools what's called accreditation. So what's accreditation? It's essentially like a seal of approval that says, yes, this school can be trusted to make sure that students learn. And it's required for schools. So all schools, elementary, middle, high school, and colleges and universities have to be accredited to be legitimate and to have grades and classes count on your transcript. So the accreditation process is something that schools go through every few years, and we are currently going through our accreditation process now, which is why the visit is happening next month and why we're going over it today in college advisory. So the process itself has 3 parts. Self-study, which is a time of reflection when the school looks at everything that we do and says, what do we do well and what do we need to do better? And the result of that is a really long report. It's about 300 pages that we send to the organization before they come to visit. The second step is a visit, and that's what's happening in March and what we're preparing for today. And then last but not least is the follow-up. So after the visit, the committee will give us some suggestions. And as part of the follow-up, we have to put those suggestions in our school plan. I want to talk a little bit about the self-study before we get to the visit. So the self-study is a year-long process, and it happened starting last spring and has continued into this spring. And there are a few things that we do as a part of the self-study. So first of all, we clarify the goals and the vision of our school. So we say, what is our goal as a school? What are we trying to achieve? We look at all of our data, so tests, your surveys, and we say, what are the things we do well and what are the things that we do not do well? We look at progress that we've made since the last time the committee was here, and then we change our plan or we update our plan to ensure that everything we've learned is a part of that new plan. Everybody is involved in this process. So the administration, teachers, you all, and your families. So I do want to talk a little bit about your role. You might not have known it, but you've already been a part of the WASC process. And when they come next month, they may ask you what your role has been thus far. And I want to make sure that everybody knows how what you've done already is connected to the process. So first of all, we started last spring with a student listening tour. If you're a sophomore, junior, or senior, you will likely remember me coming to visit your English class and talking to you about your experience, the things you liked, the things you didn't like, and also giving you a survey to give some input on what you thought needed to change about the school. In addition, last spring, many of you submitted words that you thought defined us as a school, and those words became the basis for our new pillars of grit, innovation, achievement, and community. This year, we've continued to ask for your thoughts. We gave a mid-year survey, which has informed some changes already and will definitely inform changes next year. And then because we're so small, we know that you have a chance to chat with teachers and with administrators often, and feedback that we get through those conversations has also been really important in developing our plans. So as I mentioned a couple of slides ago, one of the purposes of the self-study process is to define what do we care about as a school and what are we trying to achieve. So in doing that, we said we know that our goal is that 100% of our students are college and career ready, but we wanted to define a bit more about what that meant. So the pyramid that you see in front of you is sort of how we think about what it means to be college and career ready today. Down at the bottom here, you've got the foundation, which is the mindset of believing you can do it, some of the academic behaviors or skills like note-taking, organization, studying that you know you need to be a good student. And then, of course, mastering skills and content. So actually learning and understanding the things that you explore and are presented with in each of your courses. However, we know that there are actually other skills that are important in order to be college and career ready. And that's where these second and third kind of blocks of the pyramid come in. So you need to be able to think critically and solve problems, to work with other people, but also on your own, and to be able to communicate effectively. That's a big one. So in thinking about what we aspire to as a school, we looked at the things we do well, and we looked at the things that we need to improve. So some strengths that we found were we've improved our culture a lot over the past few years. We've got more classes offered now than we did. There's better support from teachers for you and higher expectations of what you're capable of. So some of your classes look a lot more like what they'll look like when you get to college than they used to. And that relationships both between students and also students and teachers and staff are really strong. However, we also know that we have some needs as a school. So first and foremost, our achievement levels are too low. So not everybody is achieving at the level that they need to in order to really be college ready. And we need to do some work to make sure that everyone is supported in getting there. As part of that work, we need to develop academic skills. So help you develop the organization, the note-taking, the study habits that you need to be able to learn difficult content. And while we've made progress with school culture, we still have room to grow. And part of that is also making sure that your leadership and your voice is a part of that culture and that it's owned not just by staff, but also by students. And last but not least, I know we've talked a lot about this year, but enrollment is definitely a priority need for us. So as I mentioned, these are some of the ways that you've already played a role in the WASC process, but I wanted to be explicit about how that role has actually impacted our plan already. So some of the things that we've changed as a direct result of your feedback has been, while we can't move into a brand new building because we don't have the money to do that, we did invest quite a bit in making some substantial changes to our campus, including the gate that you all saw this morning. We offered more classes than we have before, more AP courses specifically. We replaced the tutorial system with office hours, supported teachers more in supporting you. And there were a lot of complaints and concerns about referral system last year. And as a result, we changed our behavior support plan this year. And you know there are no such thing as referrals anymore. And instead, we adopted a restorative conference model, which allows you and your teacher to sort of work it out collaboratively and build that relationship. So let's talk about the visit. First, the basics. So the visit runs from Sunday, March 8th to Wednesday, March 11th. You don't need to worry about the Sunday part. That's when the parents will be meeting with the committee. But the committee will be on campus from Monday through Wednesday of that week. 4 people are on the team. They are all educators. One's a teacher, one's a principal, one is a former principal, and one is a counselor. And they all come from different schools throughout California. At the end of their 3 days, they're going to prepare a recommendation for WASC about the kind of accreditation we should receive. So it's really important that we represent our school well, but it's also important that we're honest. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a bit. So what will the visiting team do while they're here? First of all, they'll observe all classes. So they will go around to every class and you will likely see them in multiple classes, and they may talk to you while they're there, so please feel free to talk to them when they ask you questions. They're going to look at student results and materials. They'll look at the work that you've produced in your classes. They're going to meet with the administration. They'll talk to all the teachers. They will meet with one group of chosen students. So at the end of this presentation, there's an exit ticket in which you can tell me if you're interested in being part of that group. And they will also meet with random groups of students. So they may come up to you at lunch or at break and say, hey, I want to meet with you. Come talk to me. And finally, they'll meet with parents and family and just walk around campus and ask people questions to get a feel for our school. So what's your role in the visit? The first thing is to represent yourselves and to represent LPS well. To interact with the visiting team to help them understand more about our school. So to welcome them with open arms, to show